I just finished playing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and I didn't even want to play it at first because I saw we weren't playing as the prince. Like, what is this? You call it Prince of Persia, but I'm this guy? But I was bored one night and decided to give it a shot. 50 play hours later and I'm stunned. The game is incredible. It's actually really good. Now, you read the title, and right about now you might be asking yourself, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Well, my dear viewer, let me explain. I expected this game to be the same as all other Ubisoft games we've been receiving recently. Trash. Us playing as the guy from Black Panther instead of the prince was already a bad sign. But as soon as I opened up the game, I was treated with something new. No Ubisoft diversity disclaimer. I know, right? It's like a sign. And this brings me to why I'm making this video. Because I find it funny how the one Ubisoft game that's not complete garbage lacks the woke disclaimer, while all the other games have it. This game feels like it was made 15 years ago, before all this garbage took over, before these companies bloated like a bunch of zombies left in the hot sun with people who served no purpose other than pushing the message, before ESG ratings and before propaganda companies like Sweet Baby Inc. were a thing, companies whose only purpose is forcing their agenda on the consumer, at the detriment of quality, of story, of characters, of creative vision, creative integrity, whatever. All those things currently take a backseat to the ideology that's being pushed. Oh, what's the problem if they just want to cram this stuff down your throat as long as the games are good, right? Well, first of all, the games aren't good, and the ones that are passable, imagine if in Baldur's Gate, instead of finding letters about gay halfling lovers and making sure that we can bone every companion, they actually give us a proper ending to the damn game. Because we live in a world with limited resources, hiring tens or hundreds or thousands of useless people whose only purpose is pushing this ideology is counterproductive.
When we budget as Sweet Baby Inc., we actually add about 10% of our entire narrative development budget.
10%. 10% of the entire narrative budget. And that's just Sweet Baby Inc., who in turn gets hired by the actual developers.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, or dismayed, by the amount of money that marketing can give you.
And they're not the only company that does this. Not only that, these people are shit writers.
I just moved shit with my mind.
I just keep hearing I.
I just moved shit with my freaking mind!
But take job opportunities away from actually talented writers. Just listen to how she viewed this interaction in a video game she was involved in.
So recently I was consulting on a project that was a dating simulator. So the love interest is on a date with you and they ask you a very simple question, and it's, what was your ex like? The player can either choose to say, okay, my ex was a good person, but it didn't work out. They can choose to say, I don't know if I really want to talk about that. Or they can choose to say, my ex was a monster. And choosing my ex was a monster, the woman on the date with you goes like, yikes. You must be so immature if that's what you're going to say on a date about your ex. Like, you must be not over this, you must be figuring something out. When we treat, I guess, cis, hetero, male characters as the default, we end up like questions like this. And I say that because while it's a generalization, when we have those characters and they say something like, hey, my ex is a monster, what we're being asked to assume is that that person has a crazy ex-girlfriend.
What?
I honestly didn't, because guys don't usually describe their exes as monsters. We use other words. Saying my ex is a monster to me sounds like something a woman would say.
We're being asked to assume that they're being immature or they might have, a real harpy at home. It's almost like a laugh line a lot of the time. What I had to explain very delicately was that if I'm playing as a woman and I'm assuming that I'm interacting with a woman and we don't know about my ex, there's an upsettingly high likelihood that when I say to another woman, my ex was a monster, what I'm referring to was an abusive situation rather than just an immature joke.
But so wait, if a guy says it, it's taken as a joke. But if a woman says it, it's taken serious. As if guys are unable to be hurt and as if girls are unable to be immature. Tell me, in your opinion, who is the one in the privileged position here? The one that's taken serious or the one who isn't? I know who I would rather be. If I went through something horrible, I want to be taken serious instead of being treated like I'm immature, like I haven't gotten over my ex. But she doesn't see that. This person is a psychopath who can't empathize with anyone other than a woman. If it's not a woman, she doesn't understand them. No wonder when she was writing white male characters, she didn't have success. But if you look at what her company is doing to these games, she can't write female characters either.
I don't know you, but my pheromones remember you. Strange emotions.
Tell me about it. Wasn't expecting you to come in fun size.
FBI, open up!
really don't know me? Harley and Ivy forever? In 10-story burning letters? Nope.
And just listen how she sees male gamers.
We still look at our core demographics and say, okay, they're white, cis, hetero males. And we cater almost exclusively to them.
Right.
We cater them the way that we cater to like a picky baby. We feed them the same thing that we know that they love, and we keep on feeding it. We're like, here you go, you love it, eat this, eat this, eat this. So that then when they get anything else, they react as a picky baby would, which is be like, oh no, thank you, I do not want this.
Picky babies. The entitlement of this woman. Guys, how dare we not consume whatever slop they give us? I can't believe this woman is getting paid a lot of money to spew this hateful, spiteful message, getting cheered on by sycophants. She didn't have to do a hard day's work in her entire life. Talk about privileged.
Don't just put, we need diverse input. Explain how you're going to support them once they're there.
So hire them and then help them do their pathetic job of ruining your games. I also don't appreciate the hypocrisy of all this woke stuff. This is stunning and brave, admired and encouraged, but switch it around and shove religion down their throats and they'll be melting like the Wicked Witch of the West. But what's wrong? That's also diversity, right? Diversity of thought, of belief? No, it's not their diversity, because we all know diversity is just one thing and that thing has to be their thing. Jeez, man, how about we don't shove any of this down anyone's throats and we return to the basics, making good games and movies, because this sort of stuff affects movies too. Hell, it affects everything. It's like the damn plague. And the problem is not just the woke stuff they add in the games, but also the things they take out, from attractive characters to interesting stories, because they sanitize everything.
What we have to say is that video games are fun.
Well, they sure used to be before people like you came along and ruined them. Just look at Starfield. Not only is that game woke garbage, but it also feels like what you'd get if you took Fallout 4 and threw it in the washing machine. It wasn't just woke, it was sanitized and boring, with no interesting stories to speak of. I feel dirty and ashamed to admit this, but I spent 240 hours in Starfield just hoping there'll be something somewhere in this galaxy that would pique my interest and maybe make a video out of it. And by the end, there was only just one quest that was even remotely interesting, the pirate side quest. That game is so boring and so devoid of any character that I couldn't even make a video out of it. I'm not even joking right now. I felt nauseous to even record the character creation for my Skull and Bones video. I have around 300 gigabytes of footage ready and I'm too disgusted to even look at it, let alone make a video out of it. Sometimes games are so disgustingly bland, I can't. And if you think small indie games are safe, think again. AAA and quadruple A games don't have a monopoly on this problem. Before playing Prince of Persia, I was playing Pacific Drive, a game where you basically play as a paranormal mechanic servicing a sentient car. Now tell me, does this look natural to be included in the type of game I just described? And these are the only flags available. No countries, no regions, no American flag, no medieval banners, no Warhammer 40k sigils, no nothing. Instead you get this crap. Remember, you're not included in their diversity. And going back to Starfield, the arguments from the people defending this bullshit just piss me off, because they're some of the most insincere and disingenuous arguments I have ever seen in my entire life. And I can't argue with people who don't care about reality or facts or critical thinking. When heel vs Babyface, a guy I admire, he was the one who motivated me to even attempt to make a YouTube channel, thanks to a video he made where he was talking about his struggles or making videos and stuff. When he called out this bullshit, the woke mob took a small snippet of him yelling at Starfield making you pick your pronouns and came after him with arguments such as, what's the problem? We always use pronouns in video games. Why are you mad about pronouns? Trying to gaslight the heck out of all of us. What, are we just gonna pretend that before this, when you picked a male character, he wasn't just automatically referred to as a he?
You picked a bad time to come home to Skyrim, Kinsman. Captain, what should we do? He's not on the list.
This is some body type 1 and body type 2 type of crap and pretending that was always the case. And when you call that out, they flip-flop around and come with the, what, we've always had politics in games. Just because a king sends you on a quest, that doesn't mean the game is making a case about monarchy. Oh hey, there are monks in Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's promoting Christianity. No numbnuts, it's medieval Europe. And this loving mob of acceptance and care and body positivity attacked my guy's appearance, like the hypocrites that they are. This guy over here is one of the biggest offenders. Not only did he do all these things, at the time he recently got through a cancellation attempt himself, only to then turn around and go after Az. And he only did it because he felt safe doing it. And now he's going after Sweet Baby Inc. because now that's safe to do. A coward if I ever saw one. Now, cowards and useful idiots aside, these people, they're not buying these games. And if you think the sales numbers are normal, you're delusional. And I'm just gonna call it. If this trend continues, it's gonna result in a crash. The great game crash of 2023. Or better yet, the entertainment crash of 2023, because again, this affects everything. The market is saturated with this sort of stuff, and so many people are finally seeing what's going on and bowing out altogether, and taking their money with them. And it's so stupid, because they could make so much money if they just give the audience what they want. People are so desperate for good entertainment, movies that are just okay are being praised like they're the greatest thing ever. I bet if they released The Hobbit today instead of when it was originally released, it would perform much better, just because of how starved we all are for decent entertainment. Because by comparison to stuff like The Rings of Power, it's a masterpiece. Hell, even people, actors who don't go after the fans are being praised and admired. Take Sydney Sweeney for example. People are so starved for a charming woman in entertainment, so in need of the classical American sweetheart feel, that just little jokes like this
I have seen me in anyone but you or Euphoria. You definitely did not see me in Madam Web.
make her an instant favorite with the crowd. But Hollywood, the mouth-breathing idiots that they are, instead of banking on this instant goldmine, they instead give us Brie Larson
Is that like a personal attack or something?
and Rachel Zegler.
Weird.
Same goes for games too. A game that looks mid at best gets elevated to S-class just because it has an attractive female character. Because that's how rare they've gotten. And it also means that it's probably not gonna prioritize the message over their own vision. And it makes me regret not owning a PlayStation 5. Meanwhile, Horizon gives us Aloy, blandness personified. Skull and Bones gives us this. Fable gives us this monstrosity.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh, Mary, Mother of Jesus! Jesus of Nazareth!
And The Last of Us gives us Abby. Enough said. If I were an investor, I'd be pissed. We could have had free advertisement and people being excited to play our game, but instead you decide to give us Mr. Bean's sister? So where does that leave us? Will they see the error of their ways and finally give us good entertainment? Nope. Sweet Baby Inc. will probably crash and burn like they deserve after all this, and if it was up to me, these people would never work in the industry ever again, because these people are paid thousands of dollars just to ruin what you and I love, because they're patently evil. Don't believe me?
Put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
I hope this will open the eyes of more people of what's going on with the gaming industry and why so many people have been trying to draw attention to this for so long. Unfortunately, other similar companies are still out there, and corporations will continue to try and change people and gaslight us into complying with their agendas. Just look what Bethesda is up to next. I don't know if Sweet Baby Inc. was involved with the Indiana Jones project, but something tells me it's going to be just another woke, boring mess with or without them.
We have the opportunity to tell a new Indiana Jones story for a modern gaming audience.
Okay then, let's see if you can keep up.
What do you mean if I can keep up?
However, I think the tides are slowly turning, and it seems more and more people are finding their will to stand up against these evil rat bastards and say enough is enough. But it's a shame. I was born in one of the most privileged and technologically advanced times, a time where they could have made incredible games and movies and give us amazing experiences, but instead agendas got in the way, and at best I'll be an old man when all this turns around.